Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this beautiful Granny and V-stitch combination. Now it looks absolutely beautiful if you change colour every row like I have done on this sample, but it looks equally fabulous in a solid colour. I'm going to show you how it looks with both ways in this tutorial, so let's leap straight on in. To begin, pop a slip knot onto your hook. Now the pattern multiple for this Granny and V stitch is very simple. It is simply 3 plus 1. So all that means is you're going to chain in multiples of 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 until your project is as wide as you want it to be. Then add 1 extra chain at the very end. I'm only going to be making a small sample today, so I'm going to go ahead and chain 19. Once you have the correct amount of chains, we're going to begin by working into the 4th chain from the hook. Now this loop on your hook does not count as anything. You only want to count these fully formed chains hanging down below. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And into this 4th chain, we're going to work a double crochet stitch. Now skip 2 chains, and into the 3rd we're going to work 3 double crochet stitches. So skip, skip, 3 double crochets into that 3rd chain. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. We're going to repeat this all the way down, skip 2 chains and work 3 double crochets into the next. So skip, skip, 3 double crochets into the 3rd chain. Once you reach the very end, you will have 3 chains remaining. Now into that very last chain, we're going to skip 2, and into the last chain, you're going to work just 2 double crochet stitches. So that's 1, and I need 1 more. Now I'm going to change color on this final stitch. This is optional. You don't have to change color if you are continuing in a solid color, then you can ignore this step. But to change color on this final stitch, I'm going to begin my double crochet as normal. And then when I have just 2 loops remaining on my hook, I'm going to drop the yarn I'm currently working with, and I'm going to bring in my new color. I'm going to drape it over my hook, leaving a long tail for weaving in afterwards, and I'm going to complete the stitch. At this point, you can go ahead and cut off the old color. Now we're going to begin the V-stitch row. So do not chain, simply turn your work, and we're going to work a stacked stitch into this very first space here where you just finished. So into the top of this stitch below, work a single crochet, and then we're going to work another single crochet under this front bar. So pop your hook underneath that very front bar of that stitch and work another single crochet. This is my stacked double crochet stitch. It's simply 2 single crochets stacked on top of each other. This will help keep your edges beautifully straight. Now work 1 more double crochet into that exact same stitch. So that very last stitch of the row below, I'm going to add another double crochet. Now we're going to move to your sets of 3 double crochets, these little granny clusters from the row below. Rotate it slightly so you can see the top of the stitches, and you've got 1, 2, 3. And into that middle one, so we're working into the middle of your 3 double crochets, we're going to work a V-stitch. So you're skipping 2 stitches here, 2 little V's, then into this third one, which is the middle of those 3 stitches, work a V-stitch. Now a V-stitch is a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet back into that same stitch. So it forms a V. Now again, move over to your next set of 3 stitches and identify that middle stitch. If it's easier, you can skip 2 and then you're working into the third, or just identify that middle stitch, whichever works best for you. So skip 2 and work a V-stitch into that third stitch. The V-stitch is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into the same spot. Again, move to your next granny cluster, skip 2 and work the V-stitch into that middle stitch. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. You're going to work this into every granny cluster of your row. So skip 2 stitches and work a V-stitch into the third, which will be the middle stitch, the second stitch of your granny cluster from the row below. Once you've worked a V-stitch into each one of your granny clusters from the row below, to end, we're going to work into this very last stitch here. Now for this row, it will be the top of your turning chain. So you can identify the double crochet and then you have your little turning chain at the end here. And you're going to work 2 double crochets into that last stitch. Now if you want to change color again, you change color on the very last stitch. So that's 1 double crochet. This is my second double crochet. And I'm going to change color back to the mustard. Changing color every row is entirely optional. So that was your V-stitch row. Now it's back to a granny row. And just as we did on the V-stitch row, do not chain, just turn your work. And we're going to work a stacked double crochet into the top of this very end stitch here. And to do that, you simply work a single crochet and then work a single crochet into this front bar. Just work under there to create a stacked stitch. So this is your mock double crochet stitch. Then work a double crochet into that exact same spot. Now we're going to work granny clusters, which is 3 double crochet into this chain 1 space of your V-stitch. So just pay attention that you're working into the V-stitch, not these spaces either side. I'm going to ignore these entirely. So again, if you want to count the tops of the stitches, if that's easier, you'll have 2 stitches, 1, 2. We're going to work into the chain 1 space. So in between your V-stitch in that chain 1 space, just work 3 double crochets to form a granny cluster. So we're all going to stack nicely on top of each other. Then move over to your next V-stitch and work 3 double crochets in the top of that one, just into the chain 1 space. Move across to the next V-stitch, same again, 3 double crochets to that chain 1 space. This is such a simple and quick pattern. I love it. Keep working along into the chain 1 spaces of all your V-stitches with 3 double crochet. And then once you have run out of your V-stitches to work into, at the end here, we're going to end with 2 double crochet into the very last stitch. Now, you're going to be working into your stack stitch. So again, rotate slightly and you will see, here's your double crochet, here is your stack stitch. Into the top there, just work 2 double crochet. So again, skip 2 and work 2 double crochet into that end stitch. Now again, if you wanted to keep changing color, this would be the stitch that you change color on. And then we are going to repeat this row 2, the V-stitch row. So do not chain, turn your work a stacked stitch, stacked double crochet stitch into that first stitch there, which is a single crochet with another single crochet worked on top, and then work 1 more double crochet into that same spot. Then we're going to work our V stitches into that middle stitch, the second of your 3 double crochets in your granny cluster, or if it's easier, skip 2 stitches and work into the third. And we're going to work V stitches into the top just as we did before. V stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into the same spot. So we're simply repeating row 2. Once you reach the very end, rotate your work slightly to identify the top of those stitches, and into the very last stitch we're going to end with 2 double crochet stitches. Change color on that last one if you want to, but if you didn't, just complete your stitch as normal. And then we will be repeating row 3, which is the granny row. So turn your work without chaining, work a stack stitch into this very first stitch here, which is 2 single crochets stacked on top of each other to form a mock double crochet stitch. Then add 1 more double crochet into that same spot. Then work 3 double crochet into the center, chain 1 space of your V stitches. Then, once you have run out of V stitches to work into, end with 2 double crochet into that very last stitch. So keep repeating rows 2 and 3. To finish your work, I advise ending on row 3, which is the granny row here. It gives a nice solid end to your work and matches the beginning, which was granny stitches here. And once your project is the length that you want it to be and you've ended on a row 3, you've done your very final stitch. To finish, chain 1, cut your yarn, leaving a nice long end to weave in. Pull that out, pull it tight, and your work is complete. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you go on to try this Granny and V-stitch combo. It's really quick to work up, and this effect when you change colors, it almost looks like little flowers. It's adorable. I really like it. So if you found this video helpful, please do give me a big thumbs up. And until next time, happy crocheting. Bye.